In our upcoming gym building guide, we recommend you run a Healthy Habits Challenge to generate revenue in January. So how do you do that? My guest is going to lay it out for you. And on December 10th, you can get that annual plan guide. Be sure to join gymownersunited.com. That's our private group for gym owners, so you do not miss this guide. You need it. It will help you in January. This is Run a Profitable Gym. I'm your host, Mike Workington. Please hit the like button if this show helps in any way. And don't forget to subscribe for more shows just like it. Now, my guest today, Cynthia Fotti. She owns CrossFit Rush, and she's one of Two Brain's specialist mentors. She's building a complete Healthy Habits Challenge package for Two Brain clients, and it's going to be complete with everything you need to run the thing. It's going to be plug and play. It's the Two Brain style where you just get all the stuff. Your mentor tells you what to do, and it works like a charm because it's been tested, and it's amazing. Your mentor will tell you where to get it. Here, if you're not in the Two Brain family, we're going to give you an overview of this challenge and tell you how you can help your clients get results and how you can generate revenue for your gym this January. Cynthia, I got to ask you, what'd you have for breakfast this morning? Was it healthy?
Yeah, I had 2 eggs, some raspberries, a toast with peanut butter.
There you go. And I was just curious if you said, well, I had a Big Mac and some leftover pizza from the night before. But no, of course not. Nutrition Coach has a perfect breakfast, and we're going to talk about how you can help your clients with stuff like that without crossing any regulation guidelines. So I guess we'll ask this. I always like to put the cherry first for listeners. What are the rewards for a gym owner who runs a Healthy Habits Challenge? Like, what kind of revenue and profit are possible when they do this kind of stuff?
So I'll give you a real life scenario. So
yes.
The last time we ran a Kickstart for my gym was in September. Oh my gosh, I already forget. It was in the spring. Mm-hmm. And we generated $3,500 from this challenge. It was a 4-week challenge, and my coach earned $750 for running this thing. So that's one case scenario. We charged $175 for it. It doesn't have to be that high of a cost. I think that if it's your first challenge, or we're calling these challenges now, I guess, challenge, Kickstart, whichever, anything starting at about, $99, call it $100 to $150 or so, is going to be an optimal price range to charge for your clients.
Now, is this a ton of work? Did that coach have to work like 60 hours a week to earn that $700, or how kind of labor are we talking on this thing?
These Kickstarts are so easy to run because you're running it as a group model. So what that means is that you establish some general markers for your clients to follow, and everyone does the same thing, which means that the coaching element from it is actually quite simple. It's generic, right? It's also community-led and driven. So the accountability piece, although our coach, the way that we had it set up, did check in on our clients, it was mostly driven through peer. So it makes it easier on the coach from a time perspective.
But you said generic, but that doesn't mean ineffective, right? People are obviously getting results in this thing because you're helping them find out about nutrition. Like, are your clients coming out of this and saying, hey, this was great, I want to keep going?
Yeah, exactly. So the results piece, of course, like the shorter your challenge is, the less time you have to actually have to get those results. So that stems from setting expectations. For us, with a 4-week Kickstart or challenge, what we tell our clients is we're setting some foundation, and we're really using this to help us collect some information on what you're really good at and maybe what you're struggling with. And in the process, if the habits that you've set in place, you had a really easy time implementing them, then what we see as an average weight loss, say for a woman, could be easily 4 or 5, 6, 7 pounds. I've seen up to 8 pounds in a 4-week marker. But for someone who has a goal of, I want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, that's a perfect leg up to say, in these first 4 weeks, we're going to get some data, we're going to learn some things, we're going to get you started. And then when we get into some one-on-one coaching, now we're going to hone in on the specifics for you.
So listeners, that is ground level data. $3,500 is very possible. Selling that with about $175 a person, or $100, whatever you figure out. The Two Brain Mentor will help you do a pricing model, but $3,500 Cynthia did at her gym. Not a ton of work for the coaches. And if you do it properly, this thing sets clients up to slide right into ongoing nutrition coaching because you got a head start. I know what you do next. Here it is. Do you want to keep going? They're like, yeah, I do. And that helps you boost your ARM. It helps you boost your retention, helps your clients get results. It's a great thing. And we're recommending that you do this in January because everyone is in the US coming through Thanksgiving right away, or just finished. Christmas holidays everybody's eating. By January, everybody's hungover and they start to feel terrible. It is the perfect time to run a habits-based challenge to get people back on track, and they're primed for it because they're probably feeling a little bit rough. So let's talk about this. What is healthy habits? How does this challenge help every gym owner in the world? Because regulations are crazy everywhere. How does it help them avoid local regulations and offer something nutrition related to their clients?
So the way I see it, Mike, is we have to look at what is public information? What do the general public have access to? And if you look in any state, any country, there's publications that are posted on guidelines for nutritional habits. And so these could look simply like, I did a quick search before this, and like the CDC posts even some fiber targets and like list of foods that are high fiber, which I was like, oh yeah, cool.
Okay,
I hadn't seen like a fiber focus before. So fiber intake is an example. Portion control, again, they talk about fistfuls and servings of vegetables. So when you use verbiage that is shared publicly this way, and you link habits to support that implementation, that's what you're building your nutrition program around, or your healthy habits program around is those particular things.
So rather than saying to a client, I want you to make a protein shake tomorrow morning, and it's going to have 1 cup of almond milk, 25 grams of protein, and a banana, and you're not saying that. You're saying, hey, we need you to get some protein in your breakfast, and we need you to have breakfast. Can you do that? And then later in the day, you're saying, did you have breakfast? Or did you not skip breakfast and eat the donuts at the office that you really know don't match up with your goals? That's kind of what we're getting at, as opposed to the rigid macro tracking, this number, that number. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm.
And here's a question for you. Do you see clients, and my wife does nutrition exactly like this. She finds that any client who wants diet plans and numbers and data often struggles with that kind of thing, and it just doesn't go super well. But healthy habits seem to be much easier for people to grab onto, and they produce huge results. So just saying to a client, look, I need you to get half your plate full of vegetables every night at dinner. That seems much easier than saying, I need you to measure out 300 grams of vegetables and portion like that. Have you found that in your experience to be true as well?
Yeah, 100%. I would say that most people who come to us in like a consult setting for nutrition, everyone wants the meal plans. So everyone comes and says, just tell me exactly what to do. I will do it so that I can lose weight. And then when we ask the question, well, have you done that before? Oh, yeah, I used to. I did the plan and it worked well while I was on it. And then that's really the true problem, is because we're not addressing the lifestyle piece. Like, what are the reasons why you fall off when you don't have someone telling you exactly what to eat? Like, that's really the true issue here. And that's the opportunity that your gym has when you do adopt this healthy habits method, is you're going to support your client more towards the lifestyle, like long-term objectives, than to just the quick fix. But if you look at the opposite end of that, clients who are very impatient and want to snap their fingers, have results, are maybe not the right fit for this style of program, right? Because habits coaching, it does take a little bit longer, because sometimes you have to dissect, a couple of things before you find the right cue, just like in fitness, that connects with the person and allows them to grow from that.
Yeah, generally, if you want an analogy, it's like any client who comes and deadlifts with me long enough is going to get stronger. But if the client doesn't show up for the workouts, then my programming isn't going to work, right? So that habit of showing up for the workout is the first step to getting the results of doing what I tell you, and so forth. And local regulations are all over the map, literally. So wherever you're listening to this, your local regulations will be different. So we can't just say it is illegal to do this or is regulated here, because it varies all over the place. Canada, US, Europe, anywhere else in the world. Look up your local regulations. Find out what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And if you have any questions, contact a lawyer. In the US, Matthew Becker from gymlawyers.com is a great resource. Stay on side of local regulations, right? They're going to tell you what you're allowed to do. In some places, registered dietitians are the only people that are allowed to do certain things. You have medical nutrition providers. In other places, it's the Wild West. You can kind of do whatever you want. But again, stay on side of local regulations. But in this scenario, what Cynthia's talking about, habits-based coaching, you're not saying eat exactly this portion of this thing at this time. You're saying, hey, get some vegetables on your plate at dinner. Did you do that? And these things have dramatic results. I ran a challenge at my gym a long time ago, and it was the eat less crap challenge. We just said to people, pick something in your diet that you know is bad. And they just selected something. For a lot of people, it was alcohol, or it was candy, or it was just something that was like a shotgun blast, right? They knew it was horrible. And we had them regulate that over the course of a month. Just say, eat less. Try to not have 6 drinks tonight. Try to have 2, and then 0, whatever. We saw dramatic results in people. They physically changed. Like, it was incredible. Clients who've been working with me for 5 years literally looked different at the end of this challenge on something they self-selected. So that's the principle here. And now Cynthia's going to tell you exactly how to do this thing, like the details of it. So what are the essentials of setting this thing up? Like, we're talking like length, staffing, activities, pricing. What kind of general stuff can we give listeners so that they can set this thing up to run on January 2nd?
Yeah. So the first thing you need to establish is who's going to run this thing. So who on your team is connected to a healthy lifestyle, right? So if you're in a gym space, hopefully
should be everybody.
The majority of your team is into that kind of stuff. So really you just need someone who cares, who's caring enough to check in and to engage with the people that are responsible for that. When you're talking habits and like lifestyle implementation, such as sleep hygiene and hydration and like stress management and putting more vegetables on your plate, you don't need somebody who has a certification to do that, because again, these are general habits that you're introducing to their lifestyle. So someone who's just really cares about this kind of stuff is going to do a good job. Next, you want to choose the length of time. So generally speaking, 4 weeks to 6 weeks seems to be the optimal time. Anything longer than 6 weeks, clients seem to wane off a little bit.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and it will depend on how you've set up your challenge. So if you're more on the restrictive side of things, so like join my challenge, on my challenge, you can't have sugar, you can't drink alcohol, you can't, eat out. Well, I'd say like 4 weeks is probably the most before people start falling off.
What happens if it's 4 weeks, day 29, they inevitably get drunk and eat a bunch of bad food because they've been so restricted.
Right, exactly. So I'm not a big fan of like restrictive challenges only. I'm more on the abundance approach, like adding more great things. And so 4 to 6 weeks seems to be a good time where clients can stay engaged long enough to see it through. And that's what you want, because you want your clients to see results, right?
You want wins. Yeah. Wins create momentum.
You want wins. Exactly. So you've got your coach selected, you have your time frame selected. Now you just need to decide, what is your curriculum? So what key habits are going to serve your demographic? So if you have like moms, like family members who have, say, young kids as a general rule of thumb, then choose habits that are going to support the challenges that they might have in their lifestyle. So help them figure out how to meal plan, help them figure out how to meal prep and get their family involved, help them with sleep hygiene, and setting boundaries around stress and that kind of thing, so that the things that you're going to be working on speak to their own personal challenges.
So you got to know your market.
You got to know your market. Yeah. Younger people who don't have kids, they don't have those same challenges. So yeah, definitely know who you're targeting, which is your clientele predominantly.
So I'm going to ask you this question, play devil's advocate for someone who's listening right now and saying, this sounds really simple. Will a client really pay me $175 to tell them to go to bed on time?
Yeah. Well, when you put it just like that, maybe not, but this is where your marketing comes in.
And so this is the value building. Yes, that's
Exactly. So for us, the way we positioned this recent one is we kind of took a collection of consults and things that we've collected over the past year or so, and we've pulled the challenges. So like, why are you failing? Why can't you achieve your goal? And when we talked about putting together this kickstart, these are the words that we use. And so, are you struggling with meal prepping? Are you struggling with, not getting enough vegetables on your plate? Are you struggling with XYZ? And then that positioned a person to be like, yeah, these are my challenges. And yes, these stand in the way of my goals. Therefore, yes, I do need these solutions.
And those solutions are worth $175 a month.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's, if you look at it simplistically, you say, I have to do more. You really don't. You have to offer like a valuable service, build it as a valuable service, and solve problems for clients. If you use the word language that Cynthia just gave you, listeners, you'll be able to position this as not just, I'm telling you to go to bed and eat vegetables. I am solving a problem in your life, and you must know your market, because if you do, you'll obviously know what your clients are struggling with. right? You probably have a lot of accountants or professionals or moms or whatever your market is. They're going to struggle with the same kind of stuff. Help them solve those problems because those solutions help them achieve their goals in the gym. That is huge value, and $175 could even be too cheap if you market it the right way. Keep going with that. Let's talk about that pricing aspect of it. You said that could range from about 100 to 175. What do you think there?
Yeah. So this is going to depend on how many touch points that you're going to offer for your clients. And really that's how you build your price point. So if you follow the Two Brain recommendations of say 4 nights and you base your pricing off of your personal training rate, which is what we do, that's like the staple on time. And so your fee for the time that the coach is going to spend in this challenge. So if you're going to consult with clients before you start your challenge, then you want to establish a time. So how much time is going to be your consult, say before and after, if you're going to do it that way. And you factor that time in. So if that's going to be 15 minutes or 30 minutes in total, you're going to put that number aside. Then
and
you add up.
PT.
Okay. Same rate as PT. Yeah, same rate as PT. From here, you want to look at the delivery of your program. And so for what we recommend is, let's say using a community page. So for fun, we'll say Facebook. So you create a community page. And then what is your coach going to do? What's the level of engagement that they're going to put into this challenge? So for us, my coach did a live video once a week to introduce the next habit that our clients were working on. And so that took her X amount of time. So we put that in the bank so that we can add up all of that. And then you just total up the time that you're going to spend doing that times your personal training rate should give you roughly, based on the time frame, how much you're going to charge your clients.
Okay. And so this is not just like what I used to do where it's like, oh, it's about $100. Sounds good. This is actually using math and business metrics to get a clear plan in place so that you pay your coach appropriately. The gym creates a profit, your members see value, and the whole thing links up. This is like literally what Two Brain does in every aspect of gym ownership, which is the exact opposite of what we did back in the day, which was just look at what the last challenge was down the street, charge $5 less and hope everyone comes, right? Like it was ridiculous, but that's the exact mechanics of how you would do it. And you said the 4 nights model, guys, that's just paying the coach 44% of the program revenue if the coach does all the work. And if you guys, if we say split that, you do some of the work and the coach does some of the work, you can obviously adjust those percentages so it works properly. But 44% is essentially your salary cap for what you're going to pay out for program delivery. The rest covers fixed costs and profits. The cool thing about this is there's not a ton of fixed costs to this whole thing because you don't really need a lot of equipment. You don't need barbells. You don't need huge space. You need basically a Facebook group, one person, and some time, right? So the costs on this are very, very low. So the profit margin, Cynthia, I'm imagining is pretty great.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what listeners need to hear as you're getting into January and trying to figure out some revenue generating ideas. So let me look at this for say a 1 week look at, how this thing works. So we have a client and they sign up for this thing. And let's say you do an intro consultation. Would that be in the range of 15, 20 minutes consultation? And we're talking about what in there?
Okay. So if you're going to take measurements, you do it then. And really you just get a goal. What is your objective? What would you like to achieve, in this challenge? So over the next 4 weeks. And if your client's like, I want to lose 30 pounds, well, your job is to reset those expectations.
You should be able to resell that client later at the end, I think, eh?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's the perfect opportunity to say, hey, I love this goal for you. So let's create a timeline that is achievable. And so in the next 4 weeks, would you be happy with, let's say 5 pounds or 10 pounds? Like, yeah, I think I'd be happy with that. Great. After the kickstart, we're going to talk about getting more specific to your needs and your lifestyle so that we can get you those next 20. How does that sound? Yeah, great. So we've already laid the foundation to an ongoing relationship with this person. So
that's a very simple introductory meeting, which is based essentially around the prescriptive model, which is you find out the client's goals, you tell them how they're going to accomplish them, and you ask them if they want to buy it. They say yes, and you push them through, get them as far as they can, review the results, alter prescription as needed, and keep them going. The prescriptive model is the key to revenue retention in micro gyms. It is proven with data from Two Brain. I can't emphasize that enough. Use that model, put a link to the show notes in it for you so that you can check it out. After that, let's say, so you go through your intro consultation, then you're kind of moving from that individual thing into a group thing, right? Where you've got delivery of this challenge. And let's say week one, give me an example of what would week one look like for a person in this challenge.
Half a plate of vegetables at lunchtime and dinner.
Okay, so that's the week one challenge goal or something, whatever you want to call it. Yep. And you're going to put that out in the Facebook group. And you said with a short webinar or something like that?
Yeah, so our coach decided on her delivery method, and she wanted to do a video from home showing examples of like her veggie bucket is like a tactic that she was teaching. So we have a teaching around the habit that we're doing. So if we're saying half a plate of vegetables is this week's focus, first, let's make sure you have the vegetables in place. And so here's your activity on, say, Sunday. So Sunday, everybody, you're prepping a veggie bucket. Here's what mine looks like. Here's what I do to have it done. And I want to see your photos in this page to help inspire others for ideas in what this could look like. And then that's where that accountability piece comes in, where it's not our coach that's having to check in with everyone, is we're putting it out there, we're encouraging that participation, and then the value is produced by the peers. So everybody who's doing it, they get excited by, oh, I love your thing, and that's so colorful, and it's just a really positive environment.
Yeah, so you push the stone down the hill and then you get the group to keep her going. And all of a sudden you've got this great feed of here's what I'm doing. Here's my ideas. Here's a healthy meal I made. Oh, can I get that recipe? And all of a sudden you have this great group feeding off each other, and your coach is prompting things and motivating things. Like your coach has to do the work to start, because I've done these challenges. The members won't just lead from the front. The coach has to do that, but they will follow, and then they start to take over. And it's just this simple stuff where you're helping people with effective habits. Gym owners, it's a mistake to say, I have to be super elite about this, and it has to be the macro tracking and the hormones and all the other different things. All you need to do is give them a healthy step in the right direction, and half a plate of vegetables. That's a simple one. Give me one other example of another challenge thing that you've done.
Another habit. So we focus on protein. So getting, palm size portion of protein at, say, dinner or at lunch and dinner. This is going to depend on, again, your demographic, right? If your demographic really, really struggles with getting whole foods, like maybe aim for one meal to get that one target. But if they're capable of more, then of course you can give them more.
Simple but deadly effective, and that's going to help everybody who works out in your gym. They need some protein, obviously, to build muscle, right? The whole thing is perfect. So you're going to do this with 4 different things, simple habits and so forth. So then you get to the end. Talk to me about this exit interview, or how do you finish this thing so that people are highly likely to keep going with nutrition coaching?
Yeah. So of course, we do measurements and weigh-ins and that sort of thing. And then we always kick off with, what are some highlights that you learned? So learning opportunities or highlights from the Kickstart. So we want to make sure that the client is aware of some positives that have happened over the 4 weeks. And then we go into, what were some of your challenges? Because the challenges are really the opportunities to continue to expand on, because they're probably roadblocks for your client. And so we're going to talk about those challenges and relate them to how, moving forward, they're moving away from a generalized program to a specific one-on-one strategies where we work with the client, again, staying in the realm of habits, but working on their own lifestyle. And, what I hear so often in my gym is like kids, right? So like, I'm trying to lose weight, but my kids are so picky, and having 2 different meals is just so challenging. So it's like, well, we're going to work on strategies in one-on-one so that we can start to bridge that gap a little bit and make it easier for you. So you really just want to relate that there's more work to be done. And now that we've collected this data from these 4 weeks, let's dive in more depth for these specific things and just make them easier and easier for you.
So you've got goals on intake, which is such a powerful hook, because the nutrition and food related goals are often very deeply emotional things. Like, that is a huge hook. So if you have a goal at the beginning, that's amazing. If you can show them bright spots and success at the end, that's a huge thing, because success breeds motivation. Then if you can ask them about what they struggled with, you have an opportunity to solve problems that relate to their main goal. Those 3, pillars of the whole thing give you a prime opportunity to say, you wanted to lose 30 pounds. You had amazing success. You lost 5. Your challenges are, your kids really like food that isn't ideal for you. I think we can address this and keep that 5-pound weight loss off, and then move toward your goal of 30. Here's exactly how we're going to do it. You lay it out. You lay out the price for your ongoing coaching. They buy it. then you keep going with that plan and away you go. And this thing works like a charm if you do it properly, because a common thing in nutrition is for clients to not be retained. They bleed out a lot. But Cynthia, I think your retention with nutrition clients is much better than the industry average.
Yeah. Yeah. So for us, like if I come back to the opportunity with the Kickstart, so I said we generate 3,500, but after the Kickstart, we generated over 1,800 in retention from these clients and through services, putting them into nutrition coaching.
So that's 5,300 basically from one thing. And that 1,800, that may keep going indefinitely with some of these clients if they keep going. So this is really a huge win for gym owners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Our retention in our nutrition program, our leg is about 9 months that we work with clients.
And that's amazing, because if you have are most of your nutrition clients fitness clients as well?
I would say the majority, yes.
So think about that, listeners. If you have a fitness client who's working out at your gym, and we want fitness clients to train with you for like 2 years, so think 24 months. If they spend 9 months in your nutrition program, in addition to the, concurrently with the 24, they're going to get incredible results. Like these are going to be life-changing results, because no one who eats the way you tell them to eat and works out the way you tell them to work out, everyone gets results with that plan. You can make dramatic changes in a person's life. So this is a huge opportunity, and it comes with revenue for the gym, which is a big deal. Really solid. I know Clark Hibbs at Yellow Rose Fitness, he generates, I believe it's 20% of his gross revenue with nutrition coaching. I think his wife does it in a spare bedroom in their house. It scales really fast. She does it in not a lot of hours, makes 20% of gross revenue. And Clark's not pulling in $10,000 a month. He's much more successful than that. So these numbers are significant. However, if you don't do it properly, the stats are, I believe it's 4.3%. That's the average for gyms' nutrition revenue to their contribution to their gross revenue stream. So we had that in our 2023 State of the Industry report, only 4.3%. You have a massive opportunity to do it properly and get closer to 20 and create a whole new revenue stream if you do this right. To bring clients, Cynthia is going to have a ton of resources for you very shortly that your mentor will provide for you to help you do this plug and play with high speed, maximum simplicity, all sorts of done for you resources that is coming. So be aware of that. And let's do this. As we close this out, Cynthia, what is your number one tip for gym owners who are listening, who are considering a habits-based challenge? What can they do to make this thing successful? What do you got?
Keep it simple.
Hey, there's a good one. That's a habit. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. You can get so lost in the bells and whistles of your challenge. Like, what are the prizes that I'm going to offer? And like, what am I awarding prizes for? And are there weekly winners? Are there monthly winners? Like all of these things, your clients ultimately care about the achieving results, right? And if the challenge itself is too difficult, they're going to quit, right? So you're doing yourself a disservice by overthinking and over embellishing the Kickstart. So keep it simple, because the best challenge is the one that your client can actually follow and see through to the end. And so clear habits, clear check-in, peer support, and a plan for after.
I love it. And you could do it as simply as just having a PDF with check boxes on it. And it's like, check every time you have half a plate of vegetables at a meal. And away you go. And that's the simplicity of it. It does not have to be complicated. You can obviously go further in that ongoing section if they sign up, but don't overcomplicate it at the beginning. And again, I love the idea, the frame: intro, goal, do the challenge, extro, successes, challenges, ongoing coaching, success. And the whole thing is all linked together. So this is a great one. Cynthia, you said $3,500 plus $1,800 in ongoing revenue. That's a significant thing. When do you run your challenge? Is it an annual thing, or you said, I think spring you did it?
For us, we do it annually. So ours was done in the spring. We positioned it to prep for summertime. Yeah. So we use them sparingly because we really believe that one-on-one coaching is truly the highest value. And so similar to a bring a friend event kind of scenario, you don't want to offer them too often, because you really want your clients to have the success, and ultimately the best service is the one-on-one. But every now and then, so for us, once a year is the maximum that we would do, and we run one.
So, listeners, this is your January 2nd New Year's gift from Cynthia. It is exactly everything you need to create about $5,000 in front end and ongoing revenue at your gym through a simple habits-based challenge. Go through the show, take the notes, and do exactly what she said. You will have that success. And if you're a True Brain client, we will grease the rails and give you everything you need to drop this thing super fast and get great rewards on this, including telling you how to market it to current clients and everything else that you might need. If you're interested, we have 12 months of tactics exactly like this. Chris Cooper has laid them out exactly what you should do to every month to grow your gym. It is an annual plan, and it's coming out December 10th. To get it, you're going to go to gymownersunite.com and watch for Chris Cooper's post, or you can just email him directly or DM him on Facebook December 10th, and he will send you that guide because it's got this and a whole host of other things to get through the entire year and help you profit in 2025. Cynthia, thanks so much for this info. You've just made gym owners a bunch of money in 2025.
And hopefully some people fitter.
This is exactly it. It's a win for the clients. It's a win for the gym. Thank you very much.
There you go. You're welcome.
That was Cynthia Fotti, and you need to run a Healthy Habits Challenge this January. Use this show to do it. I'm Mike Workenden. This is Run a Profitable Gym. Please hit subscribe on the way out so you do not miss an episode like this because we help you run a better business. And now here's True Brain founder Chris Cooper with a final message.
Hey, it's True Brain founder Chris Cooper with a quick note. We created the Gym Owners United Facebook group to help you run a profitable gym. Thousands of gym owners just like you have already joined. In the group, we share sound advice about the business of fitness every day. I answer questions, I run free webinars, and I give away all kinds of great resources to help you grow your gym. I'd love to have you in that group. It's Gym Owners United on Facebook or go to gymownersunited.com to join. Do it today.